also related to another point which was suggested in the discussion, and that is fear of the other, fear of that which you don't know. And even though you may be dependent on the others. So, for example, the 20th century is reflective of enormous anxieties. And it comes out in the context of fear of immigrants, although the top 20% may depend on the immigrants. Or it comes out in terms of anxiety about school, anxiety about place, and the status hierarchy. It may come out in terms of psychological anxieties which are there in people. So the 20th century has been that story of anxiety. And indeed, fascism and Nazism played on those anxieties. Also, it's the case that in the United States, from time to time, crime stands for that statement of anxiety. You have to be, for example, crime and blacks came to be synonymous in the 1964 election. It was a code word for blacks in 1964 election. That an anti-crime bill is also understood as an anti-black piece of legislation. So all of those elements are there, which have to be confronted, but they have to be confronted understanding this sense of fear, which is now so ingrained in modern life, and that one has to unpack that fear. One example. If it's the case that people are frightened, they need more insurance. If it's the case that they need more insurance, more people depend on working as insurance agents in some way. So that more and more fear becomes the way that people earn money in this society. That's what they work at. That's what they do.
Il XX secolo è stato il secolo delle ansie, delle paure. Abbiamo adesso un'esplosione di paure dell'altro, anche quando, come gli immigrati, anche quando abbiamo bisogno dell'altro. Questo vale anche per il 20% più ricco, i cui privilegi si appoggiano anche sulla disponibilità di lavoro immigrato a basso costo. Il problema è che queste sono dinamiche complesse che a volte influenzano pesantemente il dibattito politico. Per esempio, negli Stati Uniti spesso si parla di sicurezza, di criminalità come perifrasi per indicare il problema dei neri. Una legge per anticrimine finisce per essere quasi sempre una legge contro i neri. E quindi il dibattito politico riflette queste cose qua. Il modo in cui la criminalità e la sicurezza emergono diventano un problema complesso, perché poi producono questa attenzione, produce una sorta di industria della sicurezza, più gente da lavorare per la sicurezza e più gente chiede assicurazione per la sicurezza, quindi finisce per essere questa paura finisce per consolidare un pezzo di economia reale.
Now, also, what is then at stake is the definition of what is meant by efficient, and what is relevant in the notion of efficient. Excuse me. If you are doing something or making something which in fact increases the social wealth of the society, so-called, but it's done by making more and more guns, allowing for fewer and fewer activities such as other kinds of education, etc. The question is whether or not that's efficient. So we need to rethink what we mean by efficient. And it's very hard to do that, in part because the assumption of efficiency historically was aimed at a class of people who were the aristocrats, who were inefficient. It was aimed at people who produced nothing in the minds of the bourgeois and in the minds of workers, that they were absolutely inefficient because they did nothing. Now the question is, what happens if you have a change in the technological basis of a society where it is unclear who does something and who does nothing? An example. Is the person who thinks up an ad for a movie and uses this town for that purpose, is he being efficient or inefficient? Is it the case that somebody who drinks a very great deal at lunch for the purpose of getting a client, is that efficient or inefficient? Is it the case that if we make more nuclear weapons to destroy ourselves more and more, is that efficient or inefficient? So what's going on here then is, in my view, the redefinition of efficiency. What we're trying to do, what the government and the corporations are trying to do, is to hold on to the definition of efficiency by pushing out old neoliberal ideas onto other societies, including this one, and into the third world, without really reinvestigating what it is that efficiency means for the 21st century. That question of what efficiency is for the 21st century may be very, very different in situations and in societies where the ages of the people, the majority ages, are less than 30 or 35, where in effect you have wholly different kinds of populations who are open to different possibilities as well.
L'altro aspetto sollevato dalle domande riguarda la caratteristica americana di essere un sistema efficiente in cui l'innovazione, il cambiamento tecnologico, l'impresa funzionano come meccanismi di mercato. Ecco, siamo in una situazione però in cui le definizioni di efficienza vanno messe in discussione, perché è più efficiente continuare a costruire più armi contro gli Stati Uniti, è efficiente avere sempre più gente che si occupa di pubblicità, di acqua minerale, eccetera, gli esempi possono essere infiniti. Questo è un tema su cui da un lato la politica americana ha spinto, ha forzato questa concezione di efficienza su tutti i paesi, anche i paesi in via di sviluppo che hanno situazioni sociali completamente diverse. Ma questo è un modo di pensare i criteri di scelta economica e di valutazione economica sempre più insostenibile per tutti, e per il XXI secolo abbiamo bisogno di parametri di ragionamento